Hey everyone, so I thought I would share with you all a little project update regarding that heat pump unit, which has certainly went through many transformations since I bought the air conditioner that I've used to make it. So right now it has actually been well effectively built into the whole house. So we have the discharge from the compressor coming up here into this plate heat exchanger, and that is just going into the central heating system on the combi boiler, and then the liquid returns from there and goes through this filter drying sight glass and then into the evaporator, and then the cycle continues. So this is not its final form, this is just like a test setup. I need to make a controller for it to control the humidity, to sense if the boiler switches off for whatever reason, because that would mean that the condenser would overheat, and then it would trigger the overheat protection in the compressor. And I'll need to have a sensor just on here, so like say the water stops flowing, this will get warm and then it will just cut everything off, and that will that'll help prevent damage to the compressor, because I wouldn't like to burn the compressor out, because it's not easy to find them. Another feature I'd like to add is a bypass valve on here. So when this switches off, I'll show you. If you switch it off, you cannot switch it back on again for usually about 10 minutes. So as you can hear, the compressor, it cannot fight the back pressure, so it just effectively stalls. So if I had a bypass valve in here, which would just, when the unit switches off, which would just open to allow the pressures to equalise, then that would really help the system, I think. I also need frost protection because this frosts up. So the way that would work is it would maybe sense like the return temperature maybe hits -1 Celsius. That means the thing's frosting up, and then it will just switch off the compressor, maybe open the bypass valve a little bit and just leave the fan running. I did something very interesting with the condensate. It comes out the bottom there, and I discovered this strange pipe under the floor, which is actually in this cupboard here. So there's just this copper pipe inside the floor, and I don't know what it was for, but it was just sort of mashed, into some sort of shape. So I had to break apart a small section of the floor to expose that pipe. I just connected the hose to it. It just goes under the floor and out the house, into the drain where the rainwater goes. So I don't know what that was for. My theory is that at some point many years ago there was actually a big floor standing boiler in here. Whether it ran on gas or wood or coal, I don't know, but this house was built in the 50s, so there was maybe some interesting boiler unit there, and that was actually perhaps the drain for it, if the system needed to be drained. So it was quite a lot of work to install this, but I've actually just got another vent here. This is in the living room, and it's just a big square hole that goes through the wall, and I've just made this sort of not exactly attractive looking conduit, just with this vent on the front which you can adjust. But yeah, as you can hear, it makes a kind of a stupid noise if you close it all the way, so I might need to use a different type of vent, but it works reasonably well. There's good airflow comes out of it. Right, so I'll show you what's upstairs. So I've got this vent here, and it was originally put the other way around, because when my friends did the skirting boards for me, they just put the vent on, and I didn't even think about all this at the time. I didn't even think there was going to be a air circulation system put in, so I took the vent off and turned it the other way up, so now the air goes upwards and into the room rather than just getting blown downwards into the carpet, and it works really effectively. But like within about an hour, because it's so powerful, the air actually becomes a bit uncomfortable, like my lips get dry and things like that. So I'll put a humidity sensor on it, so that it just switches off when the humidity gets like maybe to 50%. So the boiler, I've actually set it down to the lowest temperature it can go for the central heating. So that means that if the gas does go on, the boiler actually runs very efficiently. So that means that the water in the heat exchanger in the boiler is at the lowest temperature, so it means that the flue gas temperature is going to be lower. So you're getting better efficiency, but it's sort of less heat, if that makes sense. So it does work quite well. It keeps the chill off the house and keeps it at a comfortable temperature for me anyway. I like the house to be quite cool. Usually for me the house sits about maybe 12 degrees Celsius, and that's fine for me. And it keeps 29.3, that's okay. Now, all that heat is actually coming from the dehumidifier unit. The overall heat output from it, because it's the condenser and the evaporator are in the same space, will just equal its power consumption. So I reckon it's only giving out about maybe 800 watts of heat, but then you've got to factor in the energy from the condensation of water, so it's maybe a little bit extra. I don't know exactly. So future plans, I could possibly run, well, this will always be the first condenser, and then that return there could actually be rerouted outside to just an air condenser like you would see for a normal air conditioner, and then the liquid return could come back in and up into here, so that in the summer this can actually be used as an air conditioner, because in this form it will never ever work as an air conditioner, because, well, where is the heat going to go? It's just going to go inside the house. So that is something I'm going to have to try and sort out. Possibly I might just get a whole condenser unit, and this compressor could just get used for some other project, and I'll just have the compressor condenser unit actually sitting outside. But then that still means that this condenser is inside, so I'll need to really think about it. But yeah, it's working really well, and I'm happy with it so far. It keeps damp is just no longer an issue in this house anymore. I was having some damp patches like in the kitchen and in the corner, and this, because it's like running 4 dehumidifiers at once, it just gets rid of all the damp, so I'm quite impressed with how it's working. And this heat exchanger, well, that was for pipes. That was actually for I did want to have a wood burning boiler out in a boiler outside, well, in a building outside, sorry, which would add extra heat to the house, but I don't think that's going ahead anymore, because I just don't want to create smoke and like annoy people. I just don't like it when people are like, I do stuff and someone gets angry at it. I just want to remove the potential for that to happen. So but I've still kept the pipes, they still do run outside, so I was thinking possibly there might be a generator in the building outside, I don't know, and then waste heat from that could possibly be routed in here. But the option's there should I ever need it.